Good morning. Today at Concordia College, we gather throughout the day to mark Martin Luther King Jr. Day under the theme, Don't Be Silent, as we are urged to continue becoming responsibly engaged in the world by thinking critically, learning deeply, and engaging the pressing issues of not only the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s day, but of our current day. But it is also integrally important in becoming responsibly engaged in the world that we take time to listen to our neighbors near and far, who so often are silenced in our world. And oftentimes that requires us to be still and be silent to make sure that other voices are heard too. And so this morning in chapel, we take a bit of stillness and we hear the words of poets and musicians who invite us into listening. Our deep thanks this morning to Dr. Don Duncan and to Jazzy Lara for their work in curating this service. Our thanks to all of the readers up here this morning who will invite us into listening. We invite you to join in the rest of the day's activities, to stay for 10:30 and come back this evening, and to go to as many concurrent sessions as you can concurrently be present at. We will stand in a moment to begin in song with the spiritual wade in the water, and I love it. My favorite line in it comes up again and again, but this whole idea of God's gonna trouble the water. God's at work stirring things up. But before we stand and we begin, first, I wanted to share with you a quote from one of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s sermons, from his sermon entitled Loving Your Enemies. He said this: "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." Welcome to chapel. I invite you to stand.
The Tongues We Speak by Patricia Gedeke. I have arrived here after taking many steps over the kitchen floors of friends and through their lives. The dun-colored hills have been good to me, and the gold rivers. I have loved chrysanthemums and children. I have been grandmother to some.
In one pocket, I have hidden chocolates from you and knives, speaking my real thoughts to no one. In bars and at lecterns, I have told the truth fairly often, but hardly ever to myself. I have not cried out against the crimes of my country.
But I have protected myself. I have watched from a safe corner the rape of mountains, the eagle's reckless plunge. Ever since high school, I have waved goodbye to history. I have assisted you to grow in all ways that were convenient to me. What is a block vote against steam shovels?
My current events teacher was a fine man, but his moral precepts were put up and I followed them. Well dressed in my new Adidas, at every gathering I investigated my psyche with friends, and they investigated theirs with me. But whenever trouble came in the front door, I ran out the back and fell into the pit of my bones.
Escaped from those burning buildings, the past. What balance can any of us hope for? I was comparing lipsticks the day Nagasaki vanished. The day Solzhenitsyn disappeared into the gulag, I was attending a cocktail party.
Perhaps there are only ashes in my handbag. A man at the corner of Broadway and 42nd Street tried to sweep me into a trash barrel, and I almost agreed. Already the dried blood was sifting along my wrists. Already my own hands were tightening around my throat.
But sorrow saved me. Sorrow gave me an image of bombs like human tears watering the world's gardens. How could I not answer? Since then, I have been planting words in every window box, poking them to grow up. What God that he should be mindful of me?
Sometimes I feel like wood, waiting for someone to peel me. Indeed, I have been lukewarm at heart, which is all that matters. Of tiny bread-colored atoms, equal fragments equally dispersed, that love each other and are never hungry.
What have I ever ignited that warmed anyone? I have not followed the rivers. Dangerous as a pine needle, packed in among others and in the dense multitudes and dry timbers of the West.
I am afraid of greed, the rich taste of it, the anger hidden in my pockets. Columns of smoke on the horizon, pillars of green fire.
But I have arrived here somehow. Neither have I stopped talking. Numberless are the kitchens I have sat in, chewing my fingers, trying to say something, anything, so that the daughters of men should see as many sides of themselves as possible.
Word after word, my footprints have stumbled across the deserts. How should I escape them? They keep following after me. A little wind stirs itself, whisks across my eyelids.
And I know what it is before I say it. What if the world really articulates itself in the socket of a human need? God save me from the swamps of hubris, but it may be, it may be.
Before the idea, the impulse. I feel it moving in me. It is there, arthritic but still powerful, a seizure. Delicate as a grasshopper, a light gathering in the skull.
Between thumb and forefinger and the ball-bearing joints of the tongue, in soft, glottal convulsions out of no alien skies. but out of the mind's muscle, the hieroglyph figures rise.
The little histories of words cannot be eaten. I know it, you know it, and the children. But the images we make are our own.
In the cool caves of the intellect, the twisted roots of them lead us backwards and then forwards. If only we could understand what's in our pockets is for everyone.
I have a dictionary in one hand, a mirror. Strangers look at themselves in it, tracing the expressions they use. From one family to the next, they comfort themselves, murmuring, the tongues we speak are a blizzard of words like warm wool flying.
In the shy conjugal rites of verb, consonant, vowel. In the dark mucosal lining, the prismed underside of the skin. Each one is a spark sheared from the veined fleece of the spirit, of the looking-glass body we live in.
It is the one I have been cherishing, the one all of us speak from. For the world as we know it moves necessarily by steps. Breath, pulse, beat, 10 digital stops.
At the foot of the mountains, I look up. Does God lift up his hand to cover them? Blinded by tears like rain, my bones turn granite. The spine of the hills congeals them. Where is the eye of the storm? Or where is the center of my seeing?
The wind of my breath is a hurricane. I am locked inside myself. Painfully up the bald stepladder I climb. But sometimes the light in my head goes on more like the sun than a match.
Just as they said in Arabia, there's a huge pantalooned angel swelling inside the body's glass jar. The white-haired thread of steam from the tea kettle of the range whistles and sharpens itself into a voice.
Bodiless as history, invisible, but still whispering in ears that keep trying to hear it. It is as if midgets were bellowing their names down sets of cardboard cylinders, but we have not disappeared yet.
My friends, we have said many things to each other, in new combinations, seed upon seed exploding and blossoming in kitchen gardens. I confess I am ashamed of myself. I've not tried hard enough to understand or listen to you speak.
But the word is mindful of itself, and always has been. Littering every street in the sly eyes of tin cans, drops of water in the gutter, the world looks back at us.
From every known language, Yoruba, Hebrew, Chinese, arrogant English, the subject subjecting all to its desires. Even the softer tongues, romantic, self-reflexive, done to as we would have been done by it.
Whatever life we cultivate, out of the animal moans of childhood, it is all wheat fields, all grass, growing and being grown. With poisoned bread in my pockets, or gumdrops, or armies like myrmidons rising.
What I say is true, for a time only, thank God. If I have only arrived anywhere, it is to look carefully at all I thought I knew. In living rivers of speech, the reflections I make are my own, and yet not.
Though the old growth rings are hidden from us, and the echoing tomorrows of the acorn, the warm currents of the senses are a two-way street, my friends. The palms of our hands are crisscrossed, with as many intersections as a leaf.
Oppression by Langston Hughes. Now dreams are not available to the dreamers, nor songs to the singers. In some lands, dark night and cold steel prevail. But the dream will come back, and the song break its jail.
The free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current ends, and dips his wings in the orange sun rays and dares to claim the sky. But a bird that stalks down his narrow cage can seldom see through his bars of rage. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with fearful trill of the things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. The free bird thinks of another breeze, and the trade winds soft through the sighing trees, and the fat worms waiting on a dawn-bright lawn, and he names the sky his own. But a caged bird stands on the grave of dreams. His shadow shouts out a nightmare's scream. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown, but longed for still. And his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom.
Speak by Philip B. Williams. A storm and so a gift. Its swift approach lifts gravel from the road. A fence is flattened in the course of a storm's worst attempt at language. Thunder's umbrage. A tree is torn apart, blown upward through a bedroom window. A boy winnows through a pile of shards for the sharpest parts from the blown apart glass. He has a bag that holds found edges, jagged as a stag's horns, or smooth as a single pane smashed into smaller panes that he sticks his hands into to make blood web across his acheless skin, flexing like fish gills, O-lipped for a scream it cannot make. He wants to feel what his friends have felt. The slant of fear on their faces he could never recreate. His body configured without pain. When his skin's pouting welts don't rake a whimper from his mouth, he runs outside, arms up for the storm, aluminum baseball bat held out to the sky, until lightning, with an electric tongue, makes his viscera luminescent. The boy's first words for pain is the light's new words for home.
Speech to the Young, Speech to the Progress Toward, by Gwendolyn Brooks. Say to them, say to the downkeepers, the sun slappers, the self-soilers, the harmony hushers. Even if you are not ready for day, it cannot always be night. You will be right, for that is the hard home run. Live not for battles won. Live not for the end of the song. Live in the along.
Tableau by County Cullen. Locked arm in arm they cross the way, the black boy and the white. The golden splendor of the day, the sable pride of night. From lowered blinds the dark folk stare and hear the fair folk talk, indignant that these two should dare in unison to walk. Oblivious to look and word they pass, and see no wonder that lightning, brilliant as a sword, should blaze the path of thunder.
Author's Prayer by Ilya Kamensky.
If I speak for the dead, I must leave this animal of my body.
I must write the same poem over and over, for an empty page is the white flag of their surrender.
If I speak for them, I must walk on the edge of myself and live as a blind man.
Who runs through rooms without touching the furniture.
Yes, I live. I can cross the streets asking, "What year is it?" I can dance in my sleep and laugh.
In front of the mirror. Even sleep is a prayer, Lord.
I will praise your madness, and in a language not mine, speak.
Of music that wakes us, music in which we move. For whatever I say
As a kind of petition, in the darkest days must I praise.
Please join us in prayer now. The response is, Lord, let us lift up our voices. Lord, let us lift up our voices. Lord, may we have the ears to hear the cries of those close to us, the hearts to care, and the commitment to respond. Lord, let us lift up our voices.
Lord, may we have the ears to hear the cries of those from afar, the hearts to care, and the commitment to respond.
Lord, let us lift up our voices.
Lord, may we have the eyes to see the needs around us, the minds to make plans of action, and the commitment to respond. Lord, let us lift up our voices.
Lord, may we have the eyes to see the needs of those from afar, the minds to make plans of actions, and the commitment to respond. Lord, let us lift up our voices.
Lord, may we come to fully understand that we share this world with others, that all the creatures of this world are unique and therefore of great value, worthy to be loved and treated with dignity and justice. Give us the courage and compassion, Lord, to lift up our voices and take action on behalf of others, so that all might enjoy this precious life we share on this precious earth.
Lord, let us lift up our voices.
Let us join in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father,
Who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Voice and sing to the Lord.
For a moment of reference, Lift Every Voice and Sing is also often referred to as the Black American National Anthem. If you're wondering about the words and a bit of the history. And now, go in peace, serve the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Our coffee for today is located just outside, but we invite you to go outside, grab a muffin, grab some coffee, and then make your way back in here for 10:30. Thank you.